Hello, this is the sugarcane rainfall outlook for the southern Queensland growing areas, updated on the 27th of April 2023. This outlook will be covering areas including Bundaberg, Isis, Maryborough and Rocky Point, first looking at recent conditions and then the rainfall outlook for the coming fortnight and then the next 6 months out to October. On the next slide, on the right hand side, we see a map showing the southern Queensland growing areas. On the left, rainfall totals for the month of April up into the 25th of the month. As you can see here, the highest totals have been in that 20 to kind of 50, 60 millimeter range, but for the most part, rainfall totals for the month have been very much below average. For example, at Nambour, we are looking at rainfall totals of 44 millimeters for the month. That's compared to the average of 150 millimeters. And at Bundaberg, 28 millimeters for the month of April compares to the average of 55. So it has been quite a dry April across the southern cane growing areas. On the next slide, we're seeing the chance of exceeding median rainfall in May on the left and then June to August on the right hand side. In May, because of these brown shades we're seeing, we are looking at a low chance of exceeding median rainfall. So it is looking like a drier than average month. On the right hand side, from June to August, we see a low to roughly equal chance of exceeding median rainfall. We see fewer brown shades, even increasing up to that white 50% range there. Next, model accuracy, and this is based on past performance at that time of year. What you see here is roughly the percentage of time the model has got it right in the past. On the left, in May, median rainfall forecasts are typically correct 55 to 75% of the time, indicated by these green shades on the left. In June to August, they're typically correct 65 to 75% of the time, so we do see more of those darker green shades appearing as we head from June. Next, looking at the rainfall outlook for the next 2 weeks, and in particular, the chance of exceeding 25 millimeters each week for the next 2 weeks. On the left, we do see the chance of exceeding 25 millimeters as being up to 25%, particularly for some of those areas along the southeast coast. And this is due to some possible showers and storms coming through on the 30th of April, which I will show coming up. But then we do see a dry start to May with some cooler mornings coming through. And as a result, in the second week from the 7th of May, it is looking like a generally less than 10% chance of seeing more than 25 millimeters for the southern Queensland sugarcane growing areas. On the next slide, we'll look at the outlook for the rest of May as a whole. On the left-hand side is the May 50% forecast chance versus the historical median on the right-hand side. And as you can see, just by eyeballing the two maps, you can see quite large differences indicating that the May forecast is looking to be drier than historical median for southeast Queensland. You particularly see that for the Bundaberg area. We do see quite a difference in those green shadings, but we do see some similarities heading further south down the coast, but generally looking to be drier than the historical median for May. Next, what you're seeing here is for May, the high 75% chance of receiving at least, compared to the 25% or low chance of receiving at least. And the best way to think about these maps is that it does show that rainfall range that you do see in the bomb weather wrap. So what you're seeing here, for example, from Bundaberg, for the month of May, generally expecting between 10 to 25 millimeters as being a high chance of seeing that, and the lower chance of seeing 50 to 100 millimeters. So it does show that middle 50% range. Next, moving on to the month of June, and again we're comparing the 50% forecast chance on the left to the historical median on the right-hand side. And the 50% forecast chance is looking slightly closer to the historical median as you kind of approach the coast, but it is looking much drier further inland, just comparing these two maps here. Next, again, looking at that high versus low chance for the month of June, that 75% chance versus 25% chance, similar to the BOM rainfall app. Next, we look at the 3-month period from June all the way up to August, looking at the 50% forecast chance on the left versus the historical median on the right-hand side. And the 50% forecast chance is looking close to or slightly below the historical median for southern growing areas. Next, again, looking at 75% chance to 25% chance for the 3-month period of June to August. Looking as we head into spring, and at this stage, it is too early to give a confident forecast for spring, but as we release further updates before then, we will have a better picture of what we can expect. So what you see here are the long-term historical averages based on data from 1991 to 2020. And what we can say at this point is international models are currently indicating drier than median conditions, I should say, heading from September for southeast Queensland. Finally, short-term weather watch points. And as we can see here, we're looking at the 24-hour rainfall totals to 10 p.m. on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of this week. We do have that trough moving through southern Queensland on the Saturday, and so that's indicating that we could see some of those rainfall totals exceeding 25 millimeters as we saw before along the coast. As we head also into the Sunday, we see that system clearing off the coast pretty quickly, but they're heading into the first week of May, as I mentioned. We are seeing much drier and cooler conditions coming through. But as always, check the latest forecast and warnings on the Bureau's website or the Bomb Weather app through the week. That's it for this outlook. Be sure to send your feedback to agriculture@bom.gov.au, and we'll see you next outlook. Thanks for that.